Welcome to the Grapple Theory podcast. Thanks so much for joining us once again. We're heading over to continental Europe now for our next podcast guest. We're joined today by someone who's had a phenomenal year, really killing it out in Japan mainly, and is now back in Europe for a short amount of time before heading back there. So delighted to have Enda Kara on the podcast. Kara, how are you doing?
I'm all good, thank you. I make it work. How are you?
Good. Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. It's great to have you on the pod. Wanting to have you on for a while, so it's great that you're here now.
Thank you.
Would it be fair to say, this is the way we've sort of been starting our podcast recently, just because it's the start of the year, but would it be fair to say that 2023 was a pretty good year for you in the ring?
Yeah, obviously pretty good year. I feel like as soon as I got to Japan, my career kind of started. You know what I mean? That's the way I've been seeing it. So everything I did in Europe, even before Japan, was just to be in Japan. So as soon as I got in there, I felt like that's when my career actually started going. So yeah, compared to what's about to come for the next years over in Japan, this one was not that big at all. But yeah, like compared to every other year, yeah, absolutely.
I was going to say, when you have that, like, almost like, I want to compare it to like a championship chase, like a championship belt chase. Like, is there more thrill in the journey to making it to Japan, or to the being in Japan once you're finally there?
I mean, a little bit of both, you know, because the thing is with me compared to most people is I enjoyed the process. Getting Japan, obviously, it was not easy. It was 7 years of basically nonstop full-time hard work. But you know, for me, I enjoyed the process, and I always knew where I was headed, even though like some people would be like, well, how come you don't say anything here? How about, you know, put your voice in there? You should be here, you should be there. Like for me, it was more like, if I was good enough, I'd be there. And they're like, no, you are good enough. But this, like, it's a healthy mindset, in my opinion. So if they're talking like politics and everything, in my opinion, if I'm good enough, I'll be there. You know what I mean? Either way, it doesn't matter, because I know I'm going to head to Japan eventually, even though like at the time, nothing was set. I knew nothing. All I knew was I wanted to be in Japan, and I was going to go to Japan. And I even, obviously, like, as some people already know, probably, I studied the language even before I got there. Because I was so certain, and I was not only manifesting it, but I could like visualize, I could see it, I could feel it, I could taste it even. So eventually, when I did get there, you know, there is this thought of, what if it's not what I think it is? But as soon as I got there, it was like exactly what I thought, and then some, you know. So it's just something that, you know, I feel it in my heart that I need to be. Like, I'll see some reels on Instagram, for an example, of like Japan aesthetics, you know, when people walking around and everything, like in the cities, in Shibuya, Shinjuku, etc., or Kyoto. I just feel like the warmth in my heart. I just know I have to be there, and that's where I need to be. So for me, it was always about that, only, so, like, solely that.
No, I get that. I love that. And then it must be, again, like, it seems like understating it, but it must be just the most rewarding feeling when you touch down, when you're there, and you know you're there for so long, to have been like, shit, okay, I've made it now, I've done it. Like, this was the goal, and I've done it.
That's the problem, because a lot of people would think that way. But the thing is, as soon as I stepped on the, you know, in the country, I was like, all right, now the work begins. That was my mindset. So everything I did before this, it was just to be here. Now that I'm here, now we're starting. Now I'm going to tell my story. And like, I know it's cliche and everything, and everybody says it nowadays for the memes and all that, but I'm going to finish my story. And that is in Japan. And that is finding the cure, basically.
But that's the thing, isn't it? It's like you say, it's like a cliche thing now. It's become because of the whole Cody Rhodes thing. But like, it is the sense of like, almost, you know, you've done all the hard work to get there, and now you need to prove that, like, they were right to bring you over. You need to prove that it was the right decision for you to be there.
100%. So with that, obviously, like, considering the journey to get there in the first place, what I possess over most of the people over in Japan is something that is very unique, because the grind and the, you know, the days that nobody was there, the hard work every single day, the bulletproof mindset that I have to construct through like trauma and everything, within my journey within this business, because as soon as or people know it could be a slimy business, and politics can get in the way, etc. So like even before, when I first started, that would affect me a lot because I was all to control what I couldn't control. So I burnt myself out, but then eventually, like, I had to build this mindset, and I had to enjoy the journey, enjoy the process, and again, visualize knowing where I was gonna be going. So yeah.
How long did that take? And in terms of, not like, I'm not saying let's go back to the start of your career in terms of when did you start training and stuff, but going back to the start of your career, like you say, in terms of starting this journey of like knowing that this was the goal you wanted to achieve.
Yeah.
Like how long, and you talked about just then in terms of like making sure that you were comfortable with the process, like accepting that it's a process. Like how long into your wrestling journey did it take for you to like understand that like that it is a journey, that it's going to take a bit of time and like you'll get there eventually, but it might not all come at once, and that you've got to put that sort of that mental side of it, like relax it a bit and allow it to happen?
Probably after or about 3 years starting. So I would be working in Sweden, and there are promoters like right now it's looking fairly fine, but that day I started at a very bad time, and when I did start, the politics over here in Sweden, like in the wrestling business, were really bad. So that would affect me because wrestling was always my escape from reality. But then reality happened to be, or like my escape happened to be very, very similar to my reality. So I was very lost, you know what I mean? So I was very confused. I was very young. I was 19 when I first started. And then eventually, like, I realized, okay, I gotta leave this place because I'm not surrounded with people with like-minded people, with the right mindset. So I went to the UK, and this is pre-speaking out as well.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, I was there, I was ring crewing, I was doing some shows here and there, but not as much as I wanted. But I was showing my face, getting my name out there any way I could. But at the time, I was miserable too because I was not going anywhere, you know what I mean? And at the time, like, I thought I was good enough, but in reality, I wasn't, you know what I mean? So I had to, like, start from scratch in a way. And I came to the conclusion very quickly, to be fair, that none of the things that I did or where I come from matters. I have to put in the work here. And eventually, like, I ran out of money because, it's an investment you do, so I invested in myself in order to be in the UK for a total of 6 months. And then Brexit happened, and then, pandemic happened, so I had to leave. And then during the pandemic, I realized, all right, I need to do something about this because I have to enjoy it because, there is no second place for me. There's no plan B for me. This is what I dedicated my life to since the very first day I started. And since the first day I started, my inspiration was always to get to Japan, to New Japan Pro Wrestling, because Finn Balor, or Prince Devitt at the time, he introduced me to the scene, you know what I mean? So that's how I first started watching New Japan Pro Wrestling and his IWGP Junior Heavyweight title run, etc. So I knew, like, it was going to be a long one. And, whatever happens, happens. But at the end of the day, I was doing what I loved. So it was important for me to, get into that mindset, construct that mindset where I enjoy the process again. So
For sure. And I feel like you can see it with yourself, with your character now in the ring, that, like, talking about that, like, everything, again, like, that you've been through, like, pre-wrestling and then into wrestling, and then trying to make that break, like you say, both in Sweden and then in the UK and then back in Sweden and, like, in Europe before going out to Japan. It feels like that has, like, molded who Ender Kara now is. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. So that's the advantage I have over in Japan because of the grind and the hard, the tough days, the lonely nights, because it's a very lonely business, especially when something that what I'm doing, because I'm probably at the time as well, I was the only person out of Sweden who was going around and paving the way in a way. But now we have people like Alice Inc., for example. We have people in Denmark. We have people in Norway. Even we have people in Finland. who's doing wonderful stuff right now, and we have talent coming up here in Stockholm right now, over at the Steel Tracks Performance Center, as we call it. So yeah, in a way, like paving the way and going through all that gives me an advantage in Japan, because I'm tougher than most, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So a lot of things don't really affect me. A lot of opinions don't affect me. At the end of the day, I'm doing my thing. So.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's paid off. Clearly, it's paid off. I mean, like, the thing is I'm curious to say, I want to be careful how I phrase this, but I don't want to say, like, do you wish you were, like, just coming through now? But, like, when you look at the scene now and how it is, and, like, almost in terms of, like, that scene that you've helped mold with your journey as well, like, does it make you feel like, is there any part of you that's like, oh, I wish, like, this had all been in place, like what we've had in Scandinavia the last few years, like Bodyslam growing and, like, all the local, like, promotions in Scandinavia growing, that scene growing and now becoming a real force in Europe? Does it make you think, like, oh, shit, like, I wish they'd had all this when I was first coming through?
It's a difficult question, honestly, but I don't think so. I mean, everything happens for a reason. And it, again, like you said before, it molded me to the person I am today. And again, so wrestling doesn't owe anyone anything. And I never did, I obviously don't do this for anybody else other than me. So for me personally, it was just, I did what I had to do in order to get to Japan. And the thing is, like, with me, I always want to earn it. So I would not take the shortcuts, because I just couldn't. It's impossible for me. I could never ask someone to put in a good word for me or anything, because or I could never wear, like, for an example, like a New Japan T-shirt or whatever, unless I've earned it. So, like, I wouldn't walk around with different companies' merch, because in my opinion, I was more like, I gotta earn it. You know what I mean? But that's just my mindset. So.
No, I get that.
Yeah, but I'm very happy that it went the way it went, even though it was very difficult, emotionally and all that. But, at the end of the day, like you said, it molded me to the person I am today. And I have a huge advantage over a lot of people over in Japan right now.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say, in that case, like, not in terms of that, but in terms of being back there now. And, like, again, last year when you came back, like, every so often to do shows at, like, Bodyslam and stuff like that, it must be, although it was tough for you coming through, it must be a really cool feeling to be at those shows now, seeing how much that scene has grown. Because, like, we've had people, like you say, like Alice Inc., who's phenomenal, and we've had Christian from Bodyslam, and we've had Regina Rosendahl out in Finland on the show as well. And, like, just talking about how, like, that whole Scandi Grab scene has, like, evolved in the last few years has been, like, incredible to see, like, the rise it's taken, like, the amount of numbers they're getting in for shows and stuff now. That must be really cool to see, coming back as someone who knew what it was like you said, like, when you started, like, 8 years ago, like, it's got to be really cool to see that.
Yeah, 100%. And also, like, it's very good to see, because at the end of the day, like, it's good to see good people get work. And I've said this for years. I truly believe pro wrestling in Scandinavia, or in Sweden in general as well, is a gold mine. We have to, get the egos out of the way and, work together to reach this level. Because if you look at the wrestling map, we're basically nothing, you know what I mean? But now Denmark has really risen up, and we have Nordic Elite Wrestling, Bodyslam Pro Wrestling selling out their shows every single time they run an event, etc. So it's great to see, and that seems also to be the pinnacle of Scandinavian wrestling as well.
Yeah.
So it's a beautiful thing to see, because it was a lot of work put in by a bunch of people. But yeah, so again, a beautiful thing to see, and it's only going to get bigger too, because I know I'm going to get even bigger as well. I know a bunch of people over in Denmark are going to get bigger as well, and like, people coming over, etc. Like, they're bringing guys, like, back when I was around in Bodyslam, Francesco Akira, for an example. I wrestled twice, and they brought in guys like Mike Bailey once as well, so their resume speaks for itself, basically. Yeah. So it's only going to get bigger from here, in my opinion.
For sure. It must give you that, like, real, like, almost home country pride to see that and know that, like, it's evolving in that way, and be like, because I think it's that thing, we've spoken to a few wrestlers about this, where, like, when a scene's growing, when you come from when the scene is like dead and nothing basically, and you've made that breakout, when you see it rise, it sort of makes you that bit prouder to be from there, because you're like, shit, like this is something that like helped develop and I might have had a hand in it.
Yeah, 100%. But back in the day, like back when I was starting too, the Bodyslam was probably one of the bigger promotions of Scandinavia. But you know, it's only kind of bigger, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, again, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to see.
For sure. I feel like that Scandi Grab scene, like you say now, is, I feel like for so long it was like, especially in Europe, it was like the UK is where you had to be if you wanted to make your name, and WXW in Germany was like that underground place, and then that became huge, and now it feels like the Scandi Grab scene is like that next underground thing that's like waiting to just lift off. Do you know what I mean? Just waiting for people to recognize it and notice it and be there for it.
Yeah.
And like,
agreed.
Yeah, it seems like, I don't know, it seems like it's close, you know what I mean? I just get that feel. Like, obviously I'm not part of it. I only know from what I know as a fan. But like, even as a fan looking in on it, it just seems like it's on that verge. It's on that edge of like, soon people are going to start seeing it in the same way they see like WXW, and over here like Progress or Rev Pro. Or...
Yeah, I truly see it that way as well, especially considering, you know, the next show coming up next weekend, with me defending the Big Japan Junior Heavyweight title against Jordan Oliver. I truly feel like that's going to be a breakout match for a lot of reasons, and it's going to get a lot of eyes on the product. And I feel like over there, people are going to take notice and be like, all right, Bodyslam Pro Wrestling, that's something, you know, we haven't really heard of. And then eventually they'll catch up on the shows through IWTV, etc., and they'll see like, holy shit, this is actually something very special here, and this is going to become like the next big thing in Europe. Yeah,
absolutely. And like, when that happens, can't wait for that. Like, I genuinely can't wait, just because I think everyone on that scene just deserves it so much. But again, we've got you here. We've spoken a little bit about your time in Japan, but I want to get more in depth to that, because obviously you've spoken about like the journey and how much it meant to you and stuff. In terms of a whole year, I know you obviously came back a couple of times and like revisited and stuff before going back to Japan. But in terms of as an entire year, are you able to look back on that, like, while it's happening and be like, shit, I'm achieving this? Or is it only, like, now when you're having that break, when you're having that detox, that you're able to look back and look at how much you've achieved?
So that's my tragedy. I can't. I really do try. People tell me to, you know, soak it all in, because what I'm doing, like, I'm making history every single day over there, basically. First ever Swede to hold a championship in Japan. I was probably the second Swede in like 30 plus years or whatever it is to wrestle in Corkin Hall. I main evented Corkin Hall, which is a weird thing to say today, you know, back in the day, like before all this, that it would really like blown my mind. I could cry tears of happiness, but right now, like, I'm just, you know, that's my tragedy again. Like, I just can't smell the roses because I'm not finished, and I'm only finished when I have what I want, and that is my freedom. So, and my freedom happens, or what I believe is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, because winning the Big Japan Junior Heavyweight title in Korakuen Hall in the semi-main event against Kaji back in, what was that, December?
Yeah.
December 30th even. Like, in a way, I truly think he got off easy, because the match was about 11 minutes long, and, you know, once I have the opportunity to hit that Bloody Sunday and, you know, paying to homage to Prince Devitt, it's done, you know, and I hit it, and you could even see the surprise on my face. I thought I was going to kick out, you know, but at the end of the day, history made once again, and first foreign Big Japan Junior Heavyweight champion.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. And like, if you won't allow yourself to see it, I've got to say, like, as a fan, it's been incredible to watch you this year. I think you've had an incredible year. It's been amazing to see like what you've done and everything you've achieved. But I understand, like, it must be tough from like the mental side of it to like always being like, I want more. And like, it's admirable. You know what I mean? Like, I admire it so much, of like always thinking of the next thing. But I imagine it's also, like you say, like almost in terms of like your tragedy, like it can't be easy to always be like, I want more, I need more, like can't fully appreciate that moment.
It's not really healthy either. You know, it's just how it is. It's this, you know, so I have this curse, but like, if you look at it from an outside perspective, it's basically like, I know where I'm headed. It's just, I have to get there, I have to work. I have to endure every single thing that's coming my way in order to get there. So I can never really enjoy, and smell the flowers of what I've done. Like, it's not like I don't think back on 16 carats back in 2020 or 21, whatever it was. Back
sorry, no, post pandemic time is just a blur.
You know what I mean? Like back when I was walking down that ramp, or I don't think back on that first title that I won that we don't really talk about because I never got to defend it because I won it right before the pandemic first started. And, I don't really, I don't think about the 13, soon 14 countries that I've been wrestling in. Or like being in the newspaper over here in Sweden, etc. It's just so much that's stacking up, and my resume is so huge right now and speaking for itself. But I just can't enjoy it. I just can't, I can't stop. Even though I'm here in Sweden right now, I'm, visiting families, and I'm basically staying for a bit of a longer period of time because I know I'm gonna go back to Japan and take over the world in a bit. So I now know I'm gonna be away for a long time. So. I'm taking my time here and healing my body as well. Earlier today, I was at the Japanese embassy sorting out my visa, and right after that, I went to the chiropractor because I had some stuff. So there's a lot of things that I'm dealing with right now. But the mind's always like itching. You're almost like itching to get back. Like, oh yeah, every single day. I'm counting the days. Every single day of my life. Every single day since I first got back to Sweden, I'm thinking about going back and doing, my part and doing my thing. So are you able to relax? Are you able to have, give yourself a day off, even mentally, from being no days off? Probably not, no. Just no. I can't, no. Everything I do in my life is dedicated to this business. So, and, it is what it is. I chose this path again, so. And happily, I did it happily because it was what got me out of bed in the first place. You know what I mean? So, and now I'm looking at this title right in front of me, and I'm like, yeah, there it is. That title has never left Japan, and I was right now on my bed, and I'm just looking at it, and I don't know, man. It's very difficult. Yeah, no, sure, but that's cool. That's the thing is that is a cool thing, and again. I understand it's easy for me to be you should appreciate that more, but I understand that for you and I know because I know other people like it that it's not that simple. So I understand that, I get that, but I genuinely do hugely respect the grind you put in and where you become now. I'm really curious in terms of that mentality. And again, like I say, speaking to just a couple of other people who have been on the podcast and have similar mindsets, not necessarily just with wrestling, but was there a moment or a time in your life where that mentality became instilled in you, where you realized that there was no off, there was you just that constant push for the next thing? In particular, probably, there were a bunch of things that happened, in my first years, but I think what really, got me going and maybe get that wake-up call in a way was when I wrestled Fuminori Abe at Inner Circle in WXW, because there was a lot of reasons to why that match was one of my most difficult matches, both personally and professionally. But he was also, it was his first match in Europe. It was my first Japanese opponent ever, and it was at the old WXW Academy in Essen, and it's just. I thought to myself, okay, if I can hang with this guy, then, that will say everything for me, because that's what I need. I need something, I need to know, can I hang with them? And then we had that match, and it turned out to be the match of the night. And I remember I told this on a different podcast one time, but during the match in the beginning, he would snap mirror me and he kicked me right in the back, and the referee would check up on me. And then he saw this huge smile on my face, and people tell me to this day, I've never seen you smile that much, ever. And I got right back up, slapped him as well, slapped him in the face, snapped him and kicked him back, And then from there, I was like, all right, fuck, we're in this, and here we go. And then after the match, especially when he bowed down to me and I bowed down to him, I realized, fuck, I've earned his respect as well. And, I couldn't hold my emotions at the time. And, that was truly the wake-up call that pushed me forward in a way, because that I needed. due to personal issues. Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the start of that, like sort of almost like you becoming you then at that point.
Yeah, pretty much. Like the boost of self-confidence I got after that match was unlike something I've ever had before, you know. So
yeah,
and I knew like, all right, I can hang, and nobody can take that away from me.
Yeah,
match.
Absolutely. Well, actually, there's a few things I want to get into that we picked up on, like just in the last few minutes. The first is back at Bodyslam, because this podcast is coming out like a couple of days before your match with Jordan Oliver. So talk to me, because like looking at it again as a fan of the outside, that's a huge match. Like for yourself, for Jordan, and also like for Bodyslam to have that match, like headline the card. That's a huge match to have. Like you must be really looking forward to that one.
100%. At the end of the day, that was my call. You know, I had this offer that I wanted to make because I won the title, and I had another defense coming up in Corrigan Hall, and then I knew I was going to head back to Europe, and I saw Jordan Oliver's coming over, and you know everyone's telling me, oh, Jordan Oliver's that, Jordan Oliver's this, and etc. And I remember first when I was scheduled to face Leon Slater over at Sovereign Pro. I had the mindset of, all right, everyone's telling me all these stuff. Let's find out for ourselves. You know what I mean? So that's a similar approach that I have to this match right now. So I want to find out for myself, and I want to see it. And, you know, it's easy to call someone out, but not everybody can put the title on the line and, you know, make it a bit more interesting. And also, I've been preaching about it for as long as I've been in Big Japan, that I want to bring this product elsewhere, because I feel like Big Japan is not really branching out to the outside world. You know what I mean? So I knew that after I'm able to win this title, I can, you know, in my head, I was like, all right, my idea is I'm going to take this back to Europe and I'm going to defend it. And I'm going to have all these eyes on Big Japan, and I'm going to have all these eyes on Bodyslam. I'm going to have all these eyes on me. I'm going to have all these eyes on Jordan Oliver as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's a win. So that was my mindset towards it. And that's why I made the proposal to Bodyslam Pro Wrestling through a promo at Corrigan Hall. Making this offer, and to Jordan as well, because I don't even know if he knew what was happening. But obviously, like, how can you refuse a match like that? You know,
for sure. And that's the thing as well, is like, again, this is no slight on you at all, but like, I think that match gets announced, and like you say, there's so much hype about Jordan Oliver at the minute, and like, when I look at it as a fan looking in, like, I love Jordan Oliver, he's great. But I look at it and I'm like, no, like, you're the big name in that. Like, I feel like the hype should be on you for that match, rather than, like, more so than Jordan. And that must give you that extra, like, motivation. Again, like you say, to sort of, in terms of growing the scene and growing your rep and growing, like, where you've come from in the Scandi Grab scene, to be like, no, this is my chance to, like, make a name for myself, mark myself against this guy who everyone's talking up, and prove that I can kick his ass.
Right. I see what you're saying, but in terms of like name value, I think, because I don't know, I feel like to this day, I feel like Europe is kind of taking me for granted, because it feels like people think that I'm the same person that I was back when I was wrestling in NJPW, which is so far from the truth. I'm probably 10 times the wrestler that I was back then that I am now. And also, we got to keep in mind, like, the Bodyslam Pro Wrestling, they're holding shows over in Copenhagen, which is basically my rival city, as Stockholm, Sweden. So they don't really like me that much over there. Which is all right. It doesn't really matter. They have to accept it either way. At the end of the day, they're the ones clapping for me. You know, that's where Stockholm syndrome comes in the way. You know, they're sympathizing with me. They want me to win. They want me to, you know, succeed, and they want me to, you know, showcase my stuff, you know, for them, for their amusement. But yeah, I do believe Jordan has this name value over in America, and also I feel like this match will, not only will it be something special, but I think I mentioned it before as well. It's going to be like one of those breakout matches where people like actually pay attention and they're like, holy fuck. And Kara is he's the
shit. Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, best kept secret in a way, and like, he's so far from what he used to be. He's really improved ever since going to Japan, ever since his career started, as I said. And wow, yeah, this guy has to be everywhere. So that's my mindset. So when I go to Japan, my idea is that I'm going to be in Japan. I know I'm wrestling in Taiwan on March 24th in Taipei, and I want to go worldwide. And I've said it for as long as I can remember. I truly want to whether it's with this title or not, I want to be everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to wrestle in Canada. I want to wrestle in Ireland. I want to go back to America and actually wrestle, because last time I was in America, I was at the New Japan LA dojo. I want to wrestle. I want to compete. I want to showcase my skills. I want to show them, all right, this guy deserves a contract. You know, so that's my goal right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, speaking of New Japan, like, I truly feel like all these things that are coming up for me with Bodyslam, with Big Japan, back when I go back, like, my idea is like, and I've also put it out in the universe in a way, like, I want to be in the best of the Super Juniors this year.
I was gonna say, you talk about like always having that next goal. Is that in your mind at the moment? Is that the next endpoint? That's the next target to reach? Yeah.
So again, about the mindsets. I've been to Japan soon to be 4 times. So the first time I went, obviously, I have zero like name value. I'm basically nobody. Yeah. Doesn't matter what I did in Europe, all that stuff. So I invest in this one. You know. So I go there, I get the platform, I can showcase my skills, I can show them who Ender Kara is, the real Ender Kara, the cursed assassin. And then from there, my idea was, all right, so I'm here for the first time, what is the goal? A realistic goal. And that was, okay, I'm going to show them I'm good enough for them to bring me back. And then they brought me back. And then second tour, I was like, all right, what can I do this time? What's the realistic goal this time? A title match. All right, got the title match. I lost, but I got the title match. All right, and then they paid me, or they brought me back once again. And then the third goal was, all right, what now? I win the title. I won the title. All right, there we go. Now I'm going back for the 4th time. What's the 4th goal right now? I've already conquered the junior heavyweight division in Big Japan Pro Wrestling. And I've proven that I am the best junior heavyweight in that company. And that means I am one of the best in the world in my weight class. All right, but how do I prove I'm one of the best in my weight class? I have to participate in the best of the Super Juniors. And that's the realistic goal right now, because I'm closer than I've ever been, and I'm getting closer for every single day that goes by. So I'm very excited to for it somehow, some way fall into place in my puzzle.
No, love that. We'll definitely do our part and help put that out into work, because if that happens, that would be incredible. Would love that for you. Would absolutely love that for you. Yeah, that would be great. That would be incredible. I mean, in terms of that as well, actually going back to something else you mentioned, because I got to ask you about this, because we had Leon Slater on the podcast as well, just after he got announced as like signing for TNA. So I got to ask you about this. In terms of that match that you had with him at South Pro, he said that was one of his favourite matches of the year last year. So I want to know from you, based on what you said just then about Leon and that match, like, did he live up to the hype when you faced him? Were you like, oh shit, okay, I see what the hype is about?
100%. That's also why I shook his hand after the match, and I told him something that is between the both of us, and I shook his hand and I left. And also I lost, but I'm not gonna blame it on jet lag or anything like that, even though it's like less than a week after coming back from Japan and all that. At the end of the day, it was my job to live up and deliver. And deliver we did. But I don't know if I really did deliver to the level that I really wanted to. Because if I did, I would work out the winner. But either way, this is a match I really want to get back to sometime in the future. Because I'm far from the same person again. So I've had about 90 matches since that match.
I was gonna say we were like, just as a fan, we want you back here this year, if you're able to. That would be incredible to have you back. And again, you want a rematch with Leon, then I'm sure someone would book that, because they'd be stupid not to. But like, is there a chance? Obviously, I don't appreciate if you've got stuff lined up and you can't say, but like, is there a chance we'll see you back here in 2024?
I'm easy to find. I'm easy to contact. I've done my part, let's say that. But whatever happens either way. I know, like, I'm headed back in Japan. So in my opinion, if you don't say anything, that says everything I need to know. You know what I mean? So, but I know for a fact there is possibilities, and I've been working on it. But hey, whatever happens. Yeah. I also, like, it's kind of last minute, to be fair, because I came back. What was it? February 1st. I came back. So it's been about 2 weeks ish. So it's kind of short notice, I would say. So the chances are pretty slim, but hey, the chances are there.
Sure.
I'm easy to contact.
Sure, someone book it. Someone get him over. Let's make Ender Leon happen, like Ender Leon 2 happen, because that would be a barn burner. We need to see
I'm
that.
up for anything. I can put this title on the line. I'm confident enough to put this title on the line and walk out the winner. So either way, you guys do you. But yeah, here I am.
Yeah.
I'm not staying for long, so take your chance while you have it.
Hell yeah. Hope someone does. I was going to say as well, in terms of going back out to Japan, we've highlighted a lot, like we mentioned a few Scandi Grab's names and a few European names already in the chat. I wanted to say, like, almost like, again, away from like the serious side of it, in terms of like a sort of like a fun little fantasy booking thing. If like you're going back out to Japan, right? And if I said to you, you're going to make your own like sort of European faction over in Japan, who like, let's say 5 people, your leader, of course. So that's 4 people from the European scene, the Scandi Grab scene. Who would you take over with you to like really put the fear of God in everyone?
Fuck, yeah, that's a difficult one. Yeah, Alice is in there for sure. Me, Alice.
Alice is hard hitting. Alice is like deadly.
Yeah, Alice will knock him out. As will I, but yeah. Probably Hunyadi Thomas, who's a big powerhouse, strong guy, like a workhorse as well. I would really love to see Carlos Zamora as well. Thrive. Because I feel like Carlos Zamora is the type of guy, he just needs to be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's seen in Denmark, but we got to get out there. Got to get out there. There's a certain level you can reach in Scandinavia, and then when you get out, that's when not that he hasn't gone out of Denmark before, but like consistently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The name to be out there, like on a regular basis. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, there's levels to this, and we can only let's just improve. You know what I mean? But yeah, so now we got me, Alice, Thomas,
Carlos. One more.
Fuck. Wow, that's difficult.
There's a lot. You got so much great talent over there.
That's what I mean. Do you have anyone in mind? Because I have plenty. But
in my mind, like, okay, so this is like a bit of favoritism on my part. So it's like someone like I would say in my top wrestlers of last year to watch was Regina Rosendahl, just because like you say, like she's like that absolute like force, that powerhouse, like just knock you out with one blow sort of thing. You know what I mean? But like in a different way to say you or Alice, it's like a like proper hit you hard kind of thing. So I think she's brilliant. Again, like she's someone like the guys you've already mentioned. Like you see her walking to the ring and like just puts like the fear of God in you. You know what I mean? You're like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's her. Yeah, that'd be her actually. Yeah.
Like that intimidating presence. That would be a crazy faction.
That's the experience from Japan as well.
Yeah.
Long ago as well. So yeah, let's go with Regina. Yeah, it's been a long time since I saw her actually. But I truly feel like the Finnish scene as well, like they can be kind of underrated as well.
Yeah.
Like I had one of my bigger wake up calls over there too. I'll never forget that. As long as I live, where I knew like I had made the right choice of like going my own path in a way.
What was that? What was that moment then?
So it was I had a match. So back in Sweden, I was someone else at the time, and I always wanted to portray Ender Kara. And I remember I was always getting the no's and all that. But then eventually, like I took a bet on myself, and I remember I took my first booking as Ender Kara, and I went to Finland, and I had this one particular match with the guy Victor Tiki. And that particular match, it didn't really go the way I expected it to go. But either way, we won the crowd over, and they loved it. And after the match, I lost the match. But after the match, the respect I was shown, it was kind of a confirmation in a way that I did the right choice. Chanting Ender Kara nonstop, and then they were saying, "Please come back." I never went back since then, but. But yeah, that's out of my control. Let's say that. But that was one of the wake up calls that I had back. This is 2018, probably. We're talking, Yeah. And then this is pre-UK and everything. So.
No, that's super interesting though, because like I actually have that down to ask you later. So we've got this little feature on the show called "What's in a Name?" Essentially, like what makes Ender Kara Ender Kara. And like in terms of that, starting with that, and like in terms of that first match with the new name, because I know you had a couple of ring names before that, but
Yes.
like what was the moment, the sticking point for you where you were like, I need a change, I want it to be this needs to be who I am? Was there like a particular moment that stands out of like before that match of like this needs to be what I'm doing because the other stuff isn't me?
Yeah. So for me, I've always seen wrestling as an art form, and there are times where, or I really do consider myself an artist. I love to tell stories. I love to paint the canvas in a way, with stories, with my actions. And at the time, back when you were first starting, obviously you can't really have that creative freedom, and you're being told what to do, what to say, what to look like, etc., what to be named, all that. And then there was a time where I thought like I've gotten out of that shell, but there were disagreements at the time, and I knew like for a fact like, all right, I do carry something very special here, and I can really prove myself for you guys. But the thing is like, I could also see why they would never put faith in me, because I'd never proven that I was the top guy anywhere else before. But they just had to take a chance, but they didn't. So that was, that's all right, and I get it. I'm not stupid at it. But yeah, so with the faith in myself that I had, I knew I could do something very special there, and yeah, that's basically what I did. I took a bet on myself, and look, I think it turned out pretty good.
Oh mate, it did. It definitely did. It definitely that first match that you had as Ender, was that like, did you feel it in that moment? Were you like, even though like you say you lost, like were you like, this is right now, this feels right, this feels like who I'm supposed to be?
100%. Like back, especially like in my I'm saying younger years as if I'm 40 or something. I'm 26, but like at the start of my career, let's say that, I remember I was very emotional. And after that, match in Finland, I was very emotional because it was just so much going into it, just so much effort in order to get that booking in the first place, so much effort to take that chance, take that leap. And also, I remember for that match, I was wearing kinesiology tape across my shoulders, my chest, and everything. And it was not because I was injured, it's because I was hiding self-harm wounds, etc. So it was a very difficult time. You know what I mean? Having that appreciation, that confirmation, that support at the time, it was just overwhelming. It was beyond my comprehension. And yeah, from there, it just escalated basically.
Yeah, for sure. Like you say, it definitely paid off, and it's great to see where you are now and the fact that it has paid off. The final sort of question that leads into this What's in the Name feature is sort of, I know it's a very like generic, like it's a very generalized one, but like in your mind, who is Ender Kara? Like in terms of, I always pitch it to people as like, if someone had to cover you for the night and someone had to be you for the night, and I'm not saying anyone can be, because no one can like take another person's character, but like if like a stranger had to be you for a night, what would that person have to have in order to be Ender Kara? What does Ender Kara need to make him Ender Kara?
Oof, yeah, that's a heavy one. There's a lot of things goes into it, being the cursed assassin and everything, and not everybody could live up to the gimmick, because this gimmick is basically it's a heavy one, it's a deep one, if that makes sense. Yeah. So much going into it, like this is your life basically, and there is no escape. You have to endure every single thing, and you will reach the top, but you have to endure everything. But like what makes me tick basically most of the time is I'm too vindictive for my own good, basically. It's a very angry character. It's basically me from my past life, but like turned up to 100, and really as corny and cringe as it can sound, like embracing the darkness, and letting it, take you on this journey. And even though it's painful, it's gonna work out eventually, because Ender Kara is the crown prince, Ender Kara is the cursed assassin, and it's not a name that I was given or like chose because of a video game. No, it was because people gave it to me, because I am in fact a killer in a way, and not built as a bodybuilder obviously, but built as a killer. And that's the mindset you have to have when you enter the ring with me. Like, I'm willing to die in that ring, which is kind of ironic, because in a way I kind of see Ender Kara as a character that is already dead. But it's just the curse that he possesses that's taking him through this journey, basically. And then eventually, like, when he does get cured, he gets freedom. And once he gets that freedom, who knows what happens? You know, is he gone from the wrestling industry? Is he gone from the world? We don't know. So that's the beauty of it. That's the story I want to tell, you know.
Sure. Do you have in your mind already, like, that end point, again, like you say, of what happens when Ender gets his freedom? Do you have in your mind what you want that to be? And, like, obviously, sorry, whether it takes like a year, 5 years, 10 years to reach that point, do you have in your mind what you want that point to be, where you want that end to be, not in terms of when, but like in terms of character?
Yeah. There's a lot of ways I can go with it, but I have a pretty good idea in my mind. And also, the beauty of this is, if you look at my Instagram, every single post has a meaning behind it, even though, like, it may not look like that, but there's a reason to every single post. And also, if you look at, I want to get into this, actually. So when I made my Big Japan Pro Wrestling debut, I already knew in my mind where I wanted to go from there, you know what I mean? And then as everything fell into place, I so happened to have the Big Japan Junior Heavyweight Championship in my possession as I finished that particular thing that I was teasing this entire time. And I put it out on my YouTube, I put it out on my Instagram, on my Twitter, etc. Where basically, if you turn my Instagram upside down, or like if you turn the phone upside down from my Big Japan Pro Wrestling debut all the way down to the moment I won the title, it will spell, if you follow the black and the white images, it will spell the BOSJ 2024.
Damn, I hadn't noticed that. That's crazy.
So that's what I tried to tell in that video. So basically, from my debut all the way to becoming the champion, some way, somehow, I was able to spell the BOSJ 2024 with the end of me being the champion. So basically, throughout this journey, so the goal in Big Japan for me was to establish my name in Japan, which I truly believe I've done that. I've conquered the division as well. And now I'm looking at more possibilities, because at the end of the day, I am a freelancer. So I could show up anywhere I want. And I do love the elements of surprise. So who knows, maybe I'll show up someday somewhere where you don't expect me to show up. So that's the beauty of it too. It just falls into place. That's my puzzle right there. And then now, with the work I've been doing over in Big Japan, I feel like I proved myself. I can do these tours. I can do these wrestling 7 days in a row. I could do all that stuff, and I feel like all of that has just simply prepared me for bigger things, which happens to be New Japan Pro Wrestling. From my perspective, that's my image right there. So the end goal is New Japan Pro Wrestling and the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, because that title right there it's been my lock screen for the past years. It's been my computer desktop background for the past years. This is literally the reason to why I get up. And it was stupid of me to not think of it. Like, I was thinking, okay, maybe that's not the cure. Maybe it's the Big Japan Junior title, having a title in Japan, all that. But after I won it and I didn't feel a thing, I knew. And the eye was still there. I knew, all right, okay. Yeah,
it's that thing you'll know when you have it. You'll know when the cure's come, because you'll feel it.
Basically, when Ender Kara is cured, the eye is not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that. And like you say with the Instagram stuff, like you say you're an artist, and like I see that as that way. I'm sure loads of other wrestling fans do. Like, that it is art. That Instagram stuff also just proves that, right? Because that's art right there, to have that all lined up so that it spells that out, and like you created that. That's fucking art right there.
Thank you.
No, I love
but
that.
Also, like, again, it is a sport at the same time, because I do take it very seriously. I am an athlete. I try to be healthy. I stay
absolutely.
Healthy. You know what I mean? So you have to be in that particular shape. You have to have a particular mindset, and that the mindset part especially, that's what separates, the people who are up here and the people who are down here, because I know a bunch of people, a lot of people that are more athletic than I am. They don't possess the mindset that I possess.
Yeah.
That's what, like, I happen to be this step ahead of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not trying to bury anybody or anything like that, but there is levels to this, basically.
Yeah, but like you say, like that's what you said, like all the way through, isn't it? Is like that mindset is both a blessing and a curse in that regard.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. No, for sure. I get that, and I appreciate that. I respect that a lot.
Thank you.
I was going to say, like, just in terms of moving on from that as well, before we get into our final closing feature, which is like a quick fire feature. So before we get into that, I was going to say, in terms of your mindset, just listening to you there, like, is there, because obviously your character has been forged by like your journey, your upbringing, like your career, your journey to get to where you are now, and that's what's forged Endakara as a character.
Yes.
Is it tough? Are the lines often blurred between like who you are as a person and who Endakara is? Do you often like lose sight of like who is who in that moment? Does it blur and blend quite a lot?
I don't really want to get into that one because
sure.
I tend to keep my personal life very, very private, so I can't answer that one. But I'll tell you this: I did become the cursed assassin the moment I stepped into Japan, because I knew I needed to, get to that level, step up right there. So the idea was to bring the cursed assassin to Europe before, but never worked out. And then eventually when I got to Japan, I realized, all right, this is where I have to do it. And that's where I did it. And I'm so happy that it ended up that way, because now I'm kind of doing my own thing over there, So, but yeah, as for the question, I mean, I try to be as authentic as I can, because that's what connects, because I do wear my heart on my sleeve, and I do connect with people because, yeah, I try to stay, like, I'm very real with everything I do, whether it's my emotions and all that, because there was a time back in the day where, or probably still to this day, where pro wrestling happens to my therapy, you know what I mean? So it's where I can unleash my emotions. It's where I can tell a story. It's where I can showcase this performance in a way. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I see it.
Sure. No, I respect that. Well, that leads us into our final feature. And this is sort of like a get to know you thing, but it's nothing too personal. So I hope you won't mind with these sort of questions, because this isn't like deep personal. This is more like just sort of like what makes you tick, but not Endakara, like what makes you tick as a person. And again, like I say, it's nothing too personal. So let me know if there's anything you don't want to answer, but it's more like a bit of fun kind of thing. So I'm going to put some questions out there to you, and you let me know what comes to mind. Yeah. So the first one is, what is your favorite post-pinfall pig out?
My what?
Your favorite post-pinfall pig out, like the cheat meal you'll have like after a show or something, like your dream like cheat meal after a show where you can really like go to town on something, whether it's like a burger or pizza or like whatever.
I see. Probably like after shows I'll have anything really, but I don't eat pork though. But yeah, I'll probably have anything, bro. Like I'll donuts probably.
Nice.
Yeah. Some sweets.
Yeah.
Get that sugar back in my body, and if I can, probably nice burger or something like that. But very rarely do I eat something greasy. So, but yeah.
No, sure.
I don't really think about that too much. I just eat whatever I can get my eyes on. I'll go there myself,
Yeah, that's the normal thing, isn't it? Like after a show, it's like, what's open? Just get it.
Yeah, pretty much, because usually we tend to run late, so.
Yeah.
Mackey's, maybe.
Yeah, Mackey's is like the classic option, right? Like that's what everyone says, because it's like, that's the only thing that's like open at that time.
Yeah, right.
No, I get that. They're not all food-based, but this one is the only other food-based one. It's like, it's the classic, like, what would your like death row last meal be?
Oh shit, probably my last meal. Probably some good old yakiniku, man.
Nice.
Yeah, some good Japanese yakiniku. That'd be something.
Yeah. Japanese food is like, I think like the top tier. That's like my favorite type of food.
Yeah.
Like love it. Like me and my partner cook it a lot, and we're worried because we're going to Japan next year, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get her on the plane home. I know that. You know what I mean? She's just going to stay there.
Man, I'm sure I'm going to come up with so much better answers after this is done.
It's all right. We have people say that all the time. The amount of times I finish recording and then like the wrestlers like DMing me being like, oh, I should have said this for that question. And
100%. I can see that happening to me as well.
Yeah, but it's all right. I like to just put you on the spot a little bit with these ones, like stuff that is a little unexpected. The next one's what's the song that gets you the most hyped?
Probably my entrance music.
Yeah, it's a good theme as well.
It's called Heaven Shall Burn by Imminence.
Yeah,
and Imminence is a Swedish band, a metalcore band that just recently actually released another great song. But like every other song they have is a masterpiece in my opinion. It's just the lyrics, the melody, the chorus, every single thing about this band I love. The name even.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing to listen to.
I was gonna say I can't say I'm like a huge fan of them or know like all their like back catalogue and stuff, but like I know them through your entrance because like I'm a metal fan myself, and so like I heard your entrance, I was like, fuck, this is the shit. Like so I looked up who they were. I was like, oh damn, this is great.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that.
Or if we exclude that probably the most hype I could get probably if I listen to This Firebirds by Killswitch Engage. Obviously.
Yes.
I love me some Lorna Shore sometimes. You know? I get into the heavy stuff. That gets me going, really.
That's some good stuff there.
Like when it comes to the heavy stuff, especially with like metalcore or like even stuff even heavier than that, it's just the raw emotion.
Yeah.
The scream. I do love a good scream, you know. It's just using that emotion, you know. And also what I do sometimes, I will not only listen to the songs, but I will go on YouTube and I will listen to them playing it live.
Yeah.
Just hear it in person, you know. And I want to feel the emotion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
That's what I'm like. I love that connection. I love the passion.
Yeah. Like a good scream in metal is like, it hits. You know what I mean? You like feel it. Like you can feel, like you say, the emotion in it.
And the bleh as well.
Yeah. I love that. The next one's what is the movie that you'd show the locker room?
I don't watch movies. People who watch this right now, they'll probably laugh their ass off. They know I'm the worst guy to talk about movies with.
I was going to say it's tough now, isn't it? Because we already established that you have no off day, so it's like...
I literally, like, I don't watch any series, I don't watch any movies. What I do, like, on my free time is either training, stretching. What I watch is as well on it's kind of back to the first question that you asked about like what makes me tick or something. It's more like I love watching other people succeed. You know, so like I can go, for an example, I could go back to matches where I know a certain wrestler is going to win the big one and have their moment, all that hard work paying off. Or like whether it's, you know, pro wrestling or the UFC as well in MMA, whether it's Ryzen or One Championship. When I see people getting that recognition for their hard work and the thing that they've been working towards for so long, it just warms my heart and, you know, can get me teary-eyed most of the time as well, because I know for a fact like that's going to happen to me as well one day, and I'm going to feel that happiness too.
No,
and that's going to be told. But yeah, as for the movies, again, like I don't really watch any movies. Last time I watched a movie, man, I did watch Oppenheimer. Actually, it was pretty good.
Yeah,
and most of it, it was very interesting. I didn't fall asleep like most people did in the cinema. I did really find it intriguing. And also,
you got to have a movie on when you're doing that flight to Japan, right? That's a long flight. There's got to be a movie on there when you're.
Yeah, Oppenheimer was on it.
Oh, that's what was Oppenheimer. Okay.
Yeah, but I did watch it like in the cinemas too. So
there you go. Well, that's got to be the one then, right? Because you watched it twice. There you go. That's like
when I go outside, you know, to hang out with people that I find dear in my life, like they will tell me the location and the time. You know, that's it. They're like, all right, you're gonna be at the bowling center at 3:00 tomorrow. I'm like, all right, that's how you get me out, you know.
Yeah.
I just show up, literally.
Are you good at bowling?
No, I'm no, I'm not good. I'm almost like good at wrestling only, and some other things that I cannot mention on this podcast for you.
I mean, you're free to mention them, but if you don't want to, I totally respect that. That's fine.
I don't want to bore you with the details.
That's fine. That's fine. The next one's a bit of a throwback because it's your first job.
My first job. I I don't even know if that counts as a job. It was like telemarketing.
Yeah, that counts, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I did telemarketing back in high school.
I think that's like a classic like first job though, isn't it? Like high school,
right.
like that sort of age, like just get some money in, like.
Yeah, but then that's probably my first job, my first legal job.
Yeah. That we won't go into. We won't go into that then. It's your favorite animal.
My favorite animal. Fuck. My favorite animal. I don't know, man. Maybe the crow.
Crows are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crow. Yeah, crow or a snake, probably.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like crows are just super cool. Like there's a bunch like near where I live in London. Like there's a park where like all the crows hang out, and like you see them all like gathered together. It's like it's the coolest sight. It's so cool.
In Japan, like they're massive in Japan. It's kind of like freaky. Like,
really?
Most of the time, yeah. Like, you don't really think it's a crow at first, but then you see them, and you're like, fuck, that is a crow from Japan. Yeah, they're the same size as we're in Sweden, I'll tell you that.
Amazing. The next one's the only wrestling one on this list. It's your favorite match stipulation, and I'll say like one to be in and one to watch. They don't have to be the same.
To be honest, like I'm very like boring, man. I just love a good singles match.
Nice.
Yeah, that's me right there.
That's the thing is like I don't think that's boring. Like that's the bread and butter, right? You know what I mean? That's when you know a match is good, when it doesn't need the extras and all that. When you can like tell that story in just a classic, one-on-one, no stipulation.
Especially like considering like I'm also like doing this in Japan a lot, or like it's all about the fighting spirit. You know, I do love like seeing who can take the most damage and show the most grit as well. Like digging deep, going to that place that not many people know of. I love that. That's what makes me going, man. So probably a good whole singles match with a like competitor with a similar mindset to that. You know.
Love that. I love that. There's only a couple more. The next one is your favorite place in the world.
Japan, easy.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
Easy answer. Yeah. Easy answer.
Any particular part?
I mean, I really do want to explore more of Japan. Right now, I've only been like, in Tokyo and all that, and touring around the country, obviously with Big Japan, but I haven't really experienced some cities that I do want to visit in my free time, such as Kyoto, Osaka, and Sapporo, just to name a few,
Yeah.
But I think Kyoto is high up on that list that I want to visit and explore. And I truly feel like this might, sound weird and all that, but I think Tokyo is kind of overrated.
Yeah.
I truly do feel like Osaka is the place to be for me personally. I hear that people are, even more, they have more soul. Let's say that.
Yeah, no, it's weird you say that because like me and my partner again, like I say, we're going out there next year and we feel that way. We're not doing Tokyo, we're doing Osaka, Kyoto, and probably like Hiroshima and Beppu.
Yeah.
Because we're like that, like from what we've seen, those are the places that hit us, but we're not bothered about Tokyo that much.
Yeah. It's just also like it's too many people, man.
Yeah.
It's way too many people. It's like you don't want to go out. You know what I mean? Like I can be an introvert most of the time, like probably 80-90% of the time, but the amount of people that hops on that train, I just can't. Like
you just see it. Yeah, you see in videos and stuff. You're like, no.
Pick up your phone. When you can't pick up your phone from your pocket, something's wrong.
Yeah, for sure.
But like if we're talking only Tokyo and places I visited, I do love Shibuya. I do love Shinjuku. I stay away from Kabukicho. I'll tell you that, the red light district and all that stuff. Like,
yeah, I've heard that.
I stay away from that shit. Just a bunch of traps. You know what I mean? But yeah, Shibuya probably, maybe.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, love that. And the final one is, obviously, I'm going to say you can't say Japan because I feel like you're out there too much for this to be the answer. It's your dream holiday destination. Dream
holiday destination. I don't take holidays.
It's all about the grind.
It doesn't even enter my mind, you know what I mean? Because everyone tells me, oh, you need a vacation. I'm like, no, or when I go to Japan, people think I'm going on vacation. No, I'm going for work, you know what I mean? Every single country that I ever visited before, it's not vacation, it's literally work.
Yeah.
But if I have to choose one particular country, I'd probably say Italy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Italy was probably the most beautiful country outside of Japan that I've been,
That's a good choice.
Yeah, that's probably the one. I do want to check out Milano, and Napoli, I think it's called.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, that brings us nicely right to near the end of the podcast. I've only got a couple more questions. One question is from me. The other question is not from me because it's part of this tradition we have on the podcast where our last guest leaves a question for our next guest. And I'm not going to tell you who left it, so it comes to you completely out of context. It's a wrestling-related one. They don't have to be wrestling-related, but this one happens to be. So it's, if you could replace any wrestler in a match in wrestling history, who would you replace and in what match?
Fuck. That's very, very, very difficult. There's so many matches that I've been. Oh shit. No, I'm seeing all these matches in my head. I'm like, which one? Because I've been watching so many lately as I got back here. Anywhere, anytime?
Yeah, anytime, anywhere. Almost like the match you wish you had, I guess. The match you wish you'd been in, sort of thing.
Oh, so I can put myself in it?
Yeah, you're in it instead of the person against like that opponent.
Oh,
yeah.
I thought you meant, like a different wrestler.
Yeah, so say you said like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, and you took out Shawn Michaels, so you were facing the Undertaker because you wanted that match. Like, so that's the example, I would say. Like,
okay. Oh, okay. In that case, oh man, there's so many.
There's a lot.
Yeah, there's almost too many. Yeah, Brian, I'm just gonna waste like 10 minutes of your time thinking about this one.
That's fine. I think as long as you need. I can't say I don't blame you, but yeah, I can't ask you the other question. It's too bad.
Damn, yeah, we're talking all time. It's, I mean, I would love to.
What? Let's say like don't pick one. What are a few of the ones in your head at the moment that you're thinking?
A few in my head that I'm thinking, Best of Super Juniors final with Hiromu Takahashi and Taiji Ishimori. And then, actually, the one I was thinking about to begin with was Mike Bailey and Hiromu Takahashi, the first day on the latest Best of Super Juniors.
Yeah. I
won. To be fair, at the time, Hiromu was the IWGP title, IWGP Junior Champion. So I would want to face him, but I do want to face Speedball as well, and he wants to face me as well. So
that's a match we need to see. That match has got to happen.
Yeah.
Like, surely at some point.
Yeah, man.
That would be a killer match. Like, Mike Bailey's as well, one of those ones that, like, you know it's just, like, one kick and you're gone. You're dead. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the same with me. So
yeah. That's why it's so good. You're just waiting to see who gets that one strike.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, let's go for that one then in that case, because otherwise I'm just going to take up like 30 minutes.
That's again where you'll message me after and be like, I should have said this or this or this.
Me, Speedball, Mike Bailey.
Love that. I love that. That's I feel like that's a manifest. I feel like that match could happen. That's a match that could happen. Like you and Speedball.
That I can see happen though if I were to enter, or when I enter the Best of Super Juniors, it's me and Francesco Akira.
Yeah.
Have that third match and I can showcase the Cursed Assassin to him.
I feel like, yeah, again, like you say, that trilogy thing is like intriguing with Francesco as well, isn't it? Because like I feel like since that first match you had, even though it's not really been a huge amount of time, like you've both grown so much as characters, as people.
Yeah. Like, so for the first match, he just recently came back from All Japan, if I'm not mistaken. I was still trying to find myself, and then I lost that one. And then I remember I was being very hard on myself. And then on the second match, he joined the United Empire. And, you know, I evolved as well, but not to that level. But now I am on that level, and now I am picking it up with one of the best juniors in the world in Japan, I should say, and in the world too, actually. But I know I could hang, you know, and I know we could have a great match now because, you know, again, like I'm not the same person I was back then. I'm 10 times the wrestler, if not more. You know what I mean? With the experience that I've gotten these past years, especially this last year. So I truly feel like that would be an intriguing one for the Japanese audience as well, I think.
Yeah, would love to see that trilogy come to an end. Would love that. I would love that. And like see you again, like just get that revenge, that comeuppance on Francesco as well. That'd be great. Well, that's brilliant. That brings us nicely to the end of the podcast. Ender Kara, thanks so much for being on. I hope you've enjoyed it.
I loved it. Yeah, it was fun.
Thank you. It means a lot.
It was fun.
No, mate, it's been absolutely incredible picking your brain, like getting into your mindset as well, because like for so long you've been one of those characters that like you just intrigue me so much. Like again, the mindset you bring to it is like unlike anything I've ever seen. And so it's been incredible having you here and getting to understand a bit more about that and where that comes from. But again, like as a fan, just personally, like congratulations for everything you've had. Like even if you can't see it yourself or you don't allow yourself to see it, like it's been incredible to see the journey you've been on, and cannot wait to see what the next year and beyond has in store for you. Because like it's just I know it's going to be great.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much.
No, of course. We always end each podcast by giving our guest the final word. So whether it's back out in Japan and people are there watching it, or they're like watching it online somewhere, or whether you're back here in the UK, or whether you're out in Europe, in mainland Europe, in Scandinavia wrestling, if someone is watching a show and Ender Kara is on the bill, why is Ender Kara going to steal the show?
Because of his authenticity, I should say. Yeah, because everything you'll see is authentic. And he will, like, I'm striving to get those hooks in, you know what I mean? And pull you in and come with me on this journey.